Alrighty, folks, we're now 5-0 in our last 5 crowd pleaser teasers on my premium site. Loving those 2-team alternate run line parlays. You know what? We've got another crowd pleaser teaser going off here today. And with that, we're going to dive right into some free plays for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you got your week started off good here. And we're going to take a look at the Cardinals at the Marlins, 6:10 p.m. East. St. Louis is minus $1.55, total 7.5. Lance Lynn for the Cards, Rod Munoz for Miami. And even though his record stinks like shit, the righty Munoz is putting up some decent numbers. He's averaging over a strikeout an inning, and he does have a 1.17 whip. And I'll tell you, as many runs as the Marlins have given up this year, they actually have racked up the strikeouts at Lone Depot Park. They're currently in the top 10 in home strikeouts per game on the mound. And they're going to face a Cardinals club who has all kinds of problems producing runs themselves. These guys are currently in the bottom 5 in runs per game. Nolan Gorman's hitting just .205, 90 strikeouts on the season already. And Mike Ciani's got an OPS in the 500s. And I'll tell you what, as good as starting pitcher Lance Lynn's been, well, he's got only 2 wins on the year, still has a losing record. We've now seen his whip creep up to a 1.39. Now, injury-wise, Contreras and Nootbaar are still out for the Redbirds. When it comes to the total, 7 out of St. Louis's last 10 ball games against Miami did get over the total. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Now, the Marlins saw 3 out of their last 4 at Lone Depot Park get over the total themselves. Give me the Marlins plus 1.5 over 7.5. All right, next matchup, little divisional game here. Reds, Pirates, 6:40 p.m. East. Cincinnati's minus $1.30, totals 8 runs. Nick Lodolo for the Reds, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. And despite numerous good showings, Falter does not have a winning record to show for it. The lefty's just 3-4 on the year, and he's backed by a lackluster lineup of hitters. O'Neal Cruz has struck out 85 times already, just 5 stolen bases on the year. Not all that dynamic at the plate. And of course, Jack Sawinski, he's batting just $1.76 with an OPS in the 500s. And they're going to square off against Nick Lodolo, who's looked good this season for the Reds. The lefty's 7-2 with an ERA of 2.93. Now, he's also averaged over a strikeout an inning. And he's got a stingy 1.06 whip. Now, these Cincy pitchers as a staff, they've actually thrown their best away from the Great American Ballpark. These guys are allowing only 7.1 hits a game on the road. Now, injury-wise for Pittsburgh, Bart, Bay, and Williams, they are still out for the Pirates. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Ober's last 4 starts did get over the line. As a matter of fact, the Pirates have gone 62% to the over. Did I say Ober? Don't I mean Falter? Yeah, I'm thinking of Bailey Ober. No, Bailey Falter. Anyway, let's try that again. The Pirates have gone 62%. No, I jumped the gum here. The gun, not gum. Wow, what are we doing, Brock? 3 out of Falter's last 4 starts got over the total. What the freak? The Pirates have also gone 62% to the over in all of their Bailey Falter starts this year. Give me the Reds minus 130 over 8. Picked a good day to stop drinking coffee. Didn't have any caffeine today, and I'm stammering like an idiot. All right, next game, Padres, Phillies. Where is it? 6:40 p.m. East? What am I missing? Oh, there it is. Padres, Phillies, 6:40 p.m. East. Philadelphia's minus $1.45 at home. Total is going to be 9 runs. Aaron Nola for the Titans. Michael King for San Diego. And even though strikeouts are way up this year for King, the Pods have certainly had their issues with Philadelphia. They're allowing over 11.4 hits a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. Of course, more recently, the Pods they saw their last four. They lost their last four straight, and they averaged only 2.5 runs a game during that time frame. And unfortunately for them, they have to face Aaron Nola here today, who's 8-3 on the year with a 1.08 WHIP. And even if Nola shits the bed at home here today, this Philly lineup pounds the baseball at the bank. Philly's averaging more runs a game at home than any other lineup besides one. Kyle Schwarber's got a team-high 16 home runs. Alec Boehm's got the fourth most RBI in the bigs. Now, injury-wise, Realmuto and Clemens are still out. Looks like Trey Turner could be in the lineup here today. Looks like he should be available. Meanwhile, for San Diego, Xander Bogaerts is still active. Give me Philadelphia minus 145, under 9. Next contest, Mariners, Guardians, 6:40 p.m. East. Now, both teams are minus $1.10. Pretty much a coin flip in this one. Totals 8 runs. Tristan McKenzie for the Guardians. Bryce Miller for Seattle. And even though Miller's been pretty much unhittable, he's still recorded a handful of losses, and he does not have a winning record. They don't really perform well for him. And I'll tell you, as good as Seattle's been as a team, they do play their worst baseball away from home. As a matter of fact, these guys have a losing record in their road trips, and they're going to face a Cleveland squad who does nothing but win at Progressive Field. These guys are currently 21-8 in front of their own fans. And at the plate, they got a slew of guys you just can't get out. One of them being Stephen Kwan, who's batting .398 with an OPS in the thousands. And of course, David Fry, he's also got an OPS in the high 900s himself. Now, injury-wise, Polanco and France are still inactive for the Mariners. When it comes to the total, the M's last 3 straight on the road did get over the total. They also went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 gatherings with the Guardians. So once again, if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about, that one there. And of course, Cleveland saw overs in 3 out of their last 4 McKenzie starts. Give me Cleveland minus $1.10, over 8. Next ball game, Diamondbacks and Nationals. That'll be a 6:45 Eastern first pitch. Washington's minus $1.25 in the nation's capital. Totals 8.5. Jake Irvin for Washington. Slade Ciccone for Arizona. And even though Ciccone's blown chunks, he's got a solid lineup of hitters behind him. The D-backs are currently a top 5 run-producing team on the road in the National League. Jock Peterson has an OPS in the 900s. Ketel Marte with the most hits on the team and a 4.0 wins above replacement average. That's WAR. And they're going to face Jake Irvin, who's got a handful of losses despite some really good starts. As a matter of fact, the righty Irvin does not have a winning record despite those really good outings. And I'll tell you what, when the Nats play at home, bad things happen. They've got a losing record in the Capitol, and they really can't hit against Arizona pitching. The Nats have been held to just 3.4 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. Now, injury-wise, Joey Gallo is still out for the Nats. Corbin Carroll questionable for the D-backs. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Arizona's last 4 road games did get over the total. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Diamondbacks plus 105, over 8.5. Next game, Orioles, Yankees, 7:05 East. The Yankees are minus $1.60, totals 9.5. Nestor Cortez for New York, Albert Suarez for Baltimore. And Suarez continues to throw well. He's got a 3-0 record, ERA in the 1s. Of course, at the plate, not many teams out there are better than Baltimore. Matter of fact, no one is at the moment because Baltimore's the highest run-producing team in baseball. Gunnar Henderson's got the second most homers in the bigs, 6th highest OPS. Adley Rutschman's leading the clubhouse in RBI and hits. They're going to face a Yankee team who took the loss in 8 out of their last 12 Nestor Cortez starts. And out of their last 10 gatherings with Baltimore, their bats have been pathetic. They averaged just 2.9 runs a game during that time frame against the O's. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Baltimore's last 10 meetings with New York did stay under the total. Give me Baltimore plus 1.5, under 9.5. Next game, Red Sox, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. Boston's $1.20 on the road, totals 8.5. Tanner Houck for the Bo Sox, Chris Bassett for Toronto. Now, Bassett's got 6 losses on the year and a sloppy 1.40 whip. And even if he does throw a gem here today, the Blue Jays can't score for shit. They're a bottom 5 run producing team at home. They're going to square off against Tanner Houck, who throws gas. 7 wins on the year, ERA of 2.08. The Reddies also punched out 89 batters and has a .95 whip. But even if Houck sucks ass here today, the Bo Sox do their best piece of hitting on the road. They're averaging nearly double-digit hits a game in their travels. Connor Wong's hitting .332. Rafi Devers has an OPS of .929. That's actually 7th best in the bigs. Now, Grissom and Abreu are still out for the Bo Sox. Gonzalez should be able to play, though. 6 out of Boston's last 10 gatherings with Toronto stayed under the total. The Blue Jays went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me Boston -120, under 8.5. Next game, Tigers, Braves, 7:20 p.m. East. Atlanta's -$1.60, totals 9.5. Spencer Schwellenbach for Atlanta, Casey Mize for Detroit. And I'll tell you what, Mize has been lackluster at best. Just a 1-4 record through 65 innings, ERA of 4.43. Of course, as a team, the Tigers lost 7 out of their last 10. They're struggling a bit with National League opponents. Detroit currently has a losing record in their interleague games. They're facing an Atlanta club who's definitely played well over the past week or so. Winners of 4 out of their last 5. 30 total runs they scored during that stretch. When it comes to scoring runs, the Braves do tend to hit well at Truist Park. They're currently a top 3 hit-producing team on their own diamond. Marcell Ozuna's got the 2nd most RBI in the league, 3rd most home runs. And Austin Riley's got the 2nd most runs scored on the active roster. Now, injury-wise, Michael Harris is still out for Atlanta. Baez and Carpenter inactive for Detroit. 3 out of the Tigers' last 4 road games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, Atlanta went 60% to the under in all of their home games. Give me the Braves -160, under 9.5. Next game, Rays, Twins, 7:40 p.m. East. Minnesota's $1.55, total 7.5. Pablo Lopez for Minnesota, Aaron Savali for Tampa Bay. Now, Savali's having a pretty crappy year. He's just 2-5 with an ERA in the 5s. But even if he's stellar here, the Rays can't score for shit. These guys are in the bottom 5 in runs per game. They're also facing Pablo Lopez, who's got a bunch of punch-outs despite his ERA. The righties fanned 84 batters in just 76 innings of work. Meanwhile, at the plate, Minnesota's a top 10 run-producing team. Royce Lewis bats .390, OPS of .1398, and Carlos Correa is hitting .308 himself. Now, injury-wise, Jose Caballero, he is questionable for the Rays. And when it comes to the total, the Rays' last 3 straight on the road did get over the total. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Minnesota saw 4 out of their last 7 home games get over the line. Give me Minnesota -$1.55, over 7.5. Next contest, Mets, Rangers, interleague action, 8:05 East. The Rangers are $1.20 at home, total 7.5. Michael Lorenzen for the Rangers, Luis Severino for New York. Now, Sevy's having a solid year for the Mets. He's recorded only 2 losses through 78 innings of work, and as a matter of fact, the righty's 4-2 with an ERA of .312, along with a 1.18 whip. Now, the Mets also hit the ball quite well away from Flushing. New York's currently leading the major leagues right now in run production on the road. JD Martinez hitting .292. Pete Alonso's got the most homers in the clubhouse. And out of the Mets' last 6 contests, they got the W in all of them. Call that a win streak. 45 total runs they scored during that 6-game stretch. And unfortunately for Texas on the other side, they've been the exact opposite. currently on a 4-game losing streak. Just 9 total runs they scored during that span. And I'll tell you what, when the Rangers play at home, they fail. They got a losing record at Globe Life Field right now. Injury-wise, Evan Carter is still out for the Rangers. And when it comes to the total, the Mets saw 5 out of their last 7 interleague road games get over the total. The Mets are also 22-8 to the over in all of their contests this year away from Flushing, Queens. Give me the Mets plus $1 over 7.5. Next ball game, Giants-Cubs, 8:05 East. San Francisco's $1.20, totals 10 runs. Logan Webb for the Giants, Justin Steele for Chicago. And I'll tell you what, you really can't pay attention to Steele's record because this guy's actually thrown well this year. It's the Cubbies who are losing games. So like I said, don't pay attention to that record. He's got an ERA of 3.22, a whip of 1.09. It's his bullpen losing games. It's his hitters just not getting enough run production. And I'll tell you what, as bad as the Cubbies have been this season, they do somehow still have a winning record at Wrigley Field. So they've been serviceable in front of their home crowd. And they are facing a Giants club, a traveling Giants club who plays their worst baseball on the road. They're 4 games below 500 in their travels. And of course, at the plate, the Giants have a handful of guys who just aren't pulling their weight. Wilmer Flores bats just .217, on-base percentage in the 200s as well. And Mike Yastrzemski, he's hitting just .222. Now, injury-wise, Wade and Luciano are out for the Giants. Tauchman questionable for the Cubs. 3 out of Chicago's last 4 games at Wrigley stayed under the total. They also went 9-1 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give the Cubs plus $1 under 10. Next contest, Astros, White Sox, 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's the $2 favorite, totals 9 runs. Framber Valdez for the Stros, Jonathan Cannon for Chicago. And Cannon's got an ERA of 4.56, whip of 1.35. When it comes to producing runs, well, the White Sox are dead last in the league in just that. They score like no runs a game. And they're going to take on Framber Valdez, who's got a handful of wins and an ERA in the 3s. But even if Valdez stinks like farts today, he is backed by the best hit-producing lineup in the game. That's right. The Astros are now averaging more hits per 9 than any other team in baseball. Mauricio Dubon's batting .301. Jose Altuve's got the most hits on the roster. And out of these teams' last 10 gatherings, the Astros averaged nearly 6 runs a game. Now, injury-wise, Jimenez and Fletcher are out for the White Sox. And when it comes to the total, 4 out of Houston's last 6 road games did stay under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me Houston minus 1.5, under 9. Next game, little NL West action here. Dodgers, Rockies, 8:40 p.m. East. The Dodgers are the $1.75 favorite, totals 11. Walker Buehler on the road here for Los Angeles. Austin Gomber for Colorado. And Gomber's just 1-4 with an ERA of 4.26. And this Colorado pitching staff, they've been putrid. They're allowing 10.4 hits a game in Colorado. That's actually a league worst in hits allowed per game at home. And I'll tell you what, they're facing one of the scariest lineups in the National League. LA's currently leading the National League in hits per game. Shohei Ohtani has the 4th most home runs, 4th highest OPS, and Teoscar Hernandez leads the roster in runs batted in. Now, out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head gatherings, the Dodgers hit quite well. They actually averaged over 5.4 runs a game. So having little problems with that Colorado pitching staff. That's pretty much the case with everybody this year as well. Now, injury-wise, Bryant, Diaz, and Rogers still out for the Rockies. When it comes to the total, Colorado went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Dodgers saw 3 out of their last 4 on the road get over the total themselves. Give me the Dodgers minus 175, over 11. Next game, Brewers, Angels, 9:38 East. Milwaukee's minus $1.35, totals 8 runs. Toby Myers for the Brewers, Griffin Canning for Los Angeles. And I'll tell you what, Canning's been getting shit canned, all year. At least for most of the year, getting shit canned. Canning. 2-7 record, ERA close to 5. When the Angels play at home, horrible things happen there. They're just 12-23 in their own stadium. They're going to face Toby Myers, who's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.16 whip. Of course, at the plate, the Brewers have had minimal problems getting on the scoreboard. They're currently in the top 5 in the National League in runs per game. William Contreras bats .305 and has the most hits. And Willie Adames, he leads the team in RBI. Now, Sano's still out for the Angels. Drury's questionable. When it comes to the total, LA went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, 3 out of Milwaukee's last 4 on the road did get over the line. Give me Milwaukee minus $1.35, over 8 runs. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Royals Athletics game, 9:40 p.m. East. Kansas City's minus $1.25, total 7.5. Alec Marsh for Kansas City, Hogan Harris for Oakland. And even though Hoagies look good, the A's don't want to win for him. Oakland's currently a bottom 3 run producing team. They're going up against Alec Marsh, who's 5-3 with a 1.09 whip. Of course, at the plate, KC's a top 5 run scoring team in the American League. Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting .327, OPS in the 900s. And Michael Garcia has the second most runs scored on the team. Now, injury-wise, Renfroe and Massey are still out for Kansas City. Ruiz still inactive for Oakland. When it comes to the total, 4 out of Marsh's last 5 starts did get over the line. Meanwhile, Kansas City went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me KC minus $1.25, over 7.5. And with that, folks, now it is time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Marlins plus 1.5, over 7.5 runs. Cincinnati minus $1.30, over 8. I'm 5-0. My last 5 crowd pleaser teasers on my premium site. Phillies minus 145, under 9. Guardians minus $1.10, over 8. Arizona plus 105, over 8.5. Orioles plus 1.5, under 9.5. Red Sox minus $1.20, under 8.5. Braves minus 160, under 9.5. Twins minus 155, over 7.5. Mets plus $1, over 7.5. Cubs plus $1, under 10. Houston minus 1.5, under 9. Dodgers minus $1.75, over 11. Milwaukee minus $1.35, over 8. And give me the Royals minus $1.25, over 7.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.